we're going to try sitting over here, change things up. And I have the microphone again, so that should be fun. And I'll make sure to not do this a whole bunch of times and play with the clip. Hi guys. Shelf life 39, I think. I think this is shelf life 39. So we're going to go over my week in reading, what I've been getting into. I've changed up how I keep track of my reading, and we'll discuss that. And let's get into it. Let's see, where was the last book I read? Here it is. Thomas Pynchon's Vineland. This book was awesome and is very Pynchonian. It's definitely what I would consider after this gal Pynchon light, but it's definitely his style. This is my third Pynchon book, and I seem to think that Pynchon's style, and I heard this discussed earlier this week, where he starts very focused and narrow, and it expands to, oh, I'm totally lost and confused. And the way I visualize this is, I would like to say that Thomas here is a large caliber author, meaning entry wound and exit wound. He goes in, boop, you kind of, oh, I kind of know what's going on here. And by the end, the exit wound, you are completely obliterated, like way bigger. He is a large caliber author. That's kind of a fun, grotesque analogy I think of when I think of Thomas Pynchon. The spine broke wonderfully. I don't know if you could see that or not, but it did, and none of the all the glue held up. But I will say, I think this is a cheaper printing because there were some spots where I was reading it and it like the printed word wasn't as sharp, and I started squinting. I'm like, is this me or is this the words? And I'm pretty sure it's the words. So, but still, quality book. I prefer paperback over hardback. Um, then we were able to shift gears, and I had been wanting to finish that and to begin something else. And I didn't really know. I came down here and I looked at some of my shorties. Here's my stack of short girls right here. They're all about 200 pages, except this one, but that's a whole bunch of them that are under 200 pages in one volume. The Inferno is just up here because this is like a locked and loaded area for what is to come. And in my searchings, I got out. I found myself able to breathe, and because I was getting locked into my goals for the month, and that brings me to how I was tracking everything. But we'll get into that in a minute. But after I finished Vineland, I was like, oh, we're gonna really start paying attention to poetry again. So let's talk about this. Black Mountain Poems. This is cool, and I had listened to not Robert Creeley. Who was this? Starts with an O. Olson. Charles Olson. Charles Olson. I had listened to one of his albums, his spoken word poetry, and I was blown away. This dude rocked. And apparently he was the dean of the Black Mountain College. Black Mountain College seems to be a very cool, fun place, very tumultuous for the times, and very progressive. It was the first higher education institute that desegregated. The first one. So I thought that was kind of cool. Um, Very interesting, avant-garde, uh, pre-beats or maybe beats, but it has a very abstract, experimental, um, chopped word, emotional feeling, performative kind of poetry. I'm searching for the words, but very cool. And it's fun to read. It's fun to read out loud as well. And aside from that, I have been chopping away with Mr. Pound here, and I still don't understand him pretty much at all. Uh, there's a lot of strange references, And even reading him aloud, it feels like he's shouting. It feels like these are like he's on a mountain yelling these poems. And even though I totally don't get them, there's that vibe to them. So those are fun, and I'm kind of spending more time, more than like a page at a time. Like, oh, okay, and then I just off I go with them. We have brought back Plato's Republic, and I've been watching along on YouTube. Michael Sugre, the professor, his little lectures. The first chapter was one whole lecture. The second chapter was books 2 through 5, and I'm not done with that yet. I'm going to finish that this week. I think I'm on, and that was kind of normal. Those sections were about logic and justice, and I found those very interesting. But since getting past that into book 6, I it has gone into bonkers category. Like before, he was talking about uh, service and the army and the guardians of a society. Now we're getting into like how marriage and the role of women and children and the family. And I don't agree with what's going on. Uh, Even though later he says, kind of, kind of to the, I, I'm grasping, kind of to the effect of, well, if you painted a perfect picture of a person down to the perfect detail, but you weren't able to produce that person in real life, would that artist then be flawed? So it's strange logic, but the perfect society and the way that a family would not be in it, the way that like everyone would be raised by the state, and there's like this whole eugenics thing. Uh, Wait a minute here, Socrates. So I'm interested to see where this goes, but it is getting wonky past book 6. And I'm reading about 10, 15 pages of that a day. That's kind of my pace to finish this up by the end of the month. And while I was looking for the next fiction, whether it be Western canon or the Brodern stuff, I have been waiting to start this guy. And what a fresh breath of air this is. After Vineland and Mr. Pinchin, this is my first encounter with Laszlo Krasnohorkai, and holy cow, this is very much like Solenoid, very dark, bleak, Eastern European sadness, black and white. Everybody's mean, like, but I find the writing and the prose awesome. Um, Fun thing, I don't want to lose my page. Let's see if I can do this. Everything is a wall of text. There is no broken paragraph, and this is a fun way that Laszlo apparently likes to play with words. Each chapter, about 25 pages, I think there's 12 or 13 of them. I'm trying to read one of those a day. I'm almost done with my reading for today, but might as well go make a video now. What are we waiting for? This book is awesome. And each chapter is kind of its own story, but as you go through the book, you're finding bits and pieces and how they all lock together and how this character relates to that character. And it's kind of like this mystery, but it's a mystery in the mud in a town that always seems damp with mildew, and everybody is miserable and an alcoholic and abusive, and it's just like, I don't know. This is what I like to read. Like, this is kind of my jam. Is this what Laszlo has to offer? Like, all this kind of bleakness? Because if so, like, ooh, we found something. We found a gem here. So, if that's your game, I highly recommend this. And I cannot wait. I keep rewatching the trailer. I can't wait to watch this movie. This movie looks awesome. Um, oh, tracking. Goodreads changed their logo. So I was like, oh, wow, there's going to be updates as to how I interact and how I track this in a more user friendly way. No. And I saw a video on this saying the exact same thing. And then I got recommended to Storygraph. I'm new to Storygraph, but I found out you could import all your Goodreads onto Storygraph so you didn't have to like start over. Holy cow. I've pretty much been using Goodreads to track like the percentage that I was done in a book and a list of books that's like, I want to read, don't forget about this. So I would just like take a note, want to read, want to read. And I got really annoyed with the 25 or 25 because it's like, not all books are the same. Reading this is not the same as even reading this. Like, I could plow through pages. And I'm reading my son Harry Potter. Like, do you know how fast I could just flip through that? So I changed the goal to page count. And I don't know what a page count is. I think I had read 4,500 pages so far this year. And that was like taking a lot of time off. And I had been wanting to up my game in the reading, whatever that means, but be more intentional with reading. Year of the Plow. Remember we were doing that? So I set a goal. 10,000 steps a day sounds good. So 10,000 pages a year sounds good. So that, and then you just find the pace backwards. So that winds up being about 30 pages a day. 33 for me to catch up, 27 if you start from January 1st. That's totally doable. So that's what we've been going after. And I found out, like, I had planned for the year, like, oh, well, I'm going to read this in preparation for that. And then I started looking at how many pages are in this book, how many pages are in that book. So if I just keep this pace, I'm going to be able to read way more this year than I anticipated, which is very exciting for me. So that is my weekly update. I don't have anything profound to say, but it has been fun. I hope you guys are reading well and finding all sorts of interesting, fun things. If you have any questions, comments, or you just enjoy this kind of content, like, subscribe, and talk with me. I'm here. I'm on Storygraph. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm all over the place. And without yapping too much, have a great week. Love you all, and bye.